Assalamu alaikum, everyone. We are here with the next season of our podcast. This season is all about the relationship and the things we don't talk openly, but they are in our heart. This episode is all about the sibling rivalry, which start from the childhood, then vanished, and then come back when we are in the Middle Ages. Let's start with Sister Shanaz. Today's episode is all about siblings.
Assalamu alaikum, dear listeners and viewers. Alhamdulillah, if you are lucky enough to have siblings, then I think we need to work quite hard at maintaining our relationship with them. As Muslims, we believe that, Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created all the ruhs at one time, and then the ruhs came into this dunya at different times, and they have had a connection in the past. So your siblings, if you have had a connection in the past, a positive connection in the past with them, it will be fantastic in the dunya. You will get on and everything is great. If your connection with them wasn't that great in the past, then that may be one of the reasons why you're probably having issues with getting on with your siblings. Now, if we have relationships, all relationships, Allah's given us parents, Allah's given us siblings, Allah's given us children, all these relationships are a blessing. And when Allah gives you these blessings, our way of showing gratitude, to show gratefulness, is by maintaining them and by doing our best to keep those relationships harmonious. So, as children, we all have problems. He's taken my toys, she's got my dress on. Why do I have to stay at home when they can go and do this? Why do I have to look after them? Why do I have to make tea for them? So we all have these little notes that we are always churning out, that it's always me and I'm hard done by. But as you grow older, as you move out of the parental home, you realize how important your siblings are. So, of course, making sure that you maintain contact with them is a good way of not just keeping your worldly ties, but also getting ajr from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because one of the greatest things that is mentioned is keeping ties with kinship, and your siblings, there's no one nearer to you than your siblings. So that kinship, if you're nurturing that kinship, if you are keeping ties with that kinship, then not only are you benefiting as a person in this dunya, because your brothers and sisters bring you a lot of joy and happiness, but you are also pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you are also accumulating reward for the hereafter.
Yes, so that's exactly, you are beautifully put it in a spiritual way and our Islamic way. And I will bring it on that, how we see in a therapeutic relationship that which is a childhood wounds in the relationship. Because in a home where there is a multiple children, there are siblings, there is one who is the biggest one, is always having that role play of the responsible one. He's the eldest one. He might be the one who is taking care of everything. Like, he's a monitor of the class. He's a babysitter of the home. He's the, keeping calm in the home. He is always have to listen. Or there is someone who is a younger who always has to be obedient. That's what we in Asian household, the need of the obedience. And but as Sister Shazad said that we all are the souls of the different, and we are friends from the before we get born, and then after when we die. And that is also, we will say that we are all individuals, we are all unique, we are all have the different personalities, even though we are living in the same household. But there is some kind of favoritism is there from the parents. Sometimes some parents do the favoritism, either it's a boy versus girl, either it's the brilliant one versus the average one. Like, your brother is so good, or your sister is so good, why are you not like that? Your brother is always listen to me. But that brother who is always being portrayed as a golden child achiever, that feel that has the pressure as well, because that child feel like he has to do best, he can't be naughty. And the younger ones who are being compared, they are also pressurized that I am not that person, I am also unique, it's not my ability to achieve that much. And but totally in-home comparison is basically so much difficult for them. And these small things which they are face in their early age, and when they grow up and they find every chance to move away from the home because they are tired of that constant comparison, they are tired of that constant responsibilities, or they are tired of the constant obedience being demanded from everyone. And sometimes there is the concept of the middle child, and that middle child is also tired because their number is not coming. If they start from the top, they are tired because you need to understand that is the phrase the middle child always has to be has been listening from so long, that that is the he is the or she is the elder than you. Listen to him. He's younger than you. Understand them. So the middle child is also so much suffocated in a different levels of their understanding. And they also don't want to grow up, and they said, okay, I'm done with all this. I want to live my life. But I will say, the other people, with your own siblings, they might not understand your own position, how you are feeling and how you are surfing. They are wounded on their own place. And when you grow up and you don't want, you create a distance because you don't want to meet, because your wounded self is reminding you every time, if I go there, if I meet them, I have to behave in a certain way, I have to fit in a certain box, and you don't want to. But now you are an adult. You are both, everyone is adult now. Like, if you are 40 years old, so your sibling might be 35, might be 37, might be 45, or might be 50. So there's an age gap. After a certain age, when you are adults, you are all adults. You are not the eldest one, you are not the youngest one, you are not the middle child. Then you learn how to communicate. Then you have to learn how to respond, then react, and sit down and talk to each other. That sitting down and talking to each other is basically the place where there is a new relationship will emerge, more healthier relationship. And if you're still finding and struggling to creating a new relationship, do seek the therapy, because you need to heal that wounded self. That is the past. It can't be changed. But you are worthy of living a emotionally fulfilled life.
Alhamdulillah. But if you look at the Asian family structure, there's always the ये सबसे बड़ा है बहुत लाडला है, don't say anything to him. ये सबसे छोटा है बहुत लाडला है, don't say anything to him. So you can't, there's these two that you can't say anything to because they're bada and chota. So obviously there's those two are God sent. And then you have the middle child. So the middle child, like we've mentioned, that the middle child, in English, there's the middle child syndrome. And I think majority of Asian children do suffer from the middle child syndrome. And I myself am a middle child too. So, and then you have the boss, like the elder sister, she's usually the boss. And whatever she says goes. So you have to be really careful with Asian families because, okay, when you're young, all of this is fine because your parents are there and you're tolerating it because of your parents. You're thinking, yes, okay, this is, as long as my parents are okay with it, we'll just move on. But then don't forget, when you all move out, like you said, you're all living in your own homes, you're all adults, you're all individuals. Now it's a relationship, and of course it's a relationship of siblings, but it can also be a relationship of friendship and and comfort and warmth. And that is usually very beautiful if people are still getting on and not stuck in their childhood, like when he did this and he was allowed to go to uni and she wasn't, and she was allowed to go and work and he wasn't, and she had to work and pay for this and pay for the other. So all of these things that you just got to put them behind you. And as an adult, you've got to look back and think, well, what is it that I can change from the past? And the answer is usually nothing. You can't change the past. It's happened. You just got to get on with it. You've just got to make the future different if the past wasn't what you wanted. So for that, obviously, you will need to get your help, your coaching, your therapy, whatever it is that you need. Now, in the future, what is it you want? Do you want to have good relationships with your siblings? If you do, then there is gonna any relationship, even with friends, we have to put in our effort. All the friends that we have, if you look at it, our relationships don't just exist, or they're not just your friend because they're your friend, but you don't see them and you don't talk to them and you don't answer their texts. No, they're not your friends because of that. They're your friends because you put in that effort. You see them, you answer their texts, you answer their calls, you go over to their house, they come over to yours, you make the effort for them, they make the effort for you. So the same goes for siblings. You have to make the effort for them, and they have to make the effort for you. And that's how that relationship is going to work. Not just because you're right and you're the eldest, or you're the youngest, or whatever the reasons were when you were living with your parents. Those reasons were only valid because of your parents' existence. Now, if you don't have parents, or if you have all moved out, your parents may still be there, but you are now going to have a different relationship with your siblings, with your brothers and sisters. And I think life can be very beautiful if you let it be. Like, don't hold grudges. Why do you want to hold grudges? Because bearing a grudge does more harm to the person bearing the grudge than the one that the grudge is bared against. He probably doesn't even know. Or she probably doesn't even know. She probably doesn't even care. She's just getting on with her life. And you're sat there saying, in 1953, this is what she did to me. Oh, you see this all the time. They
Yeah.
said this to me. She said that. You think, no, don't bear grudges. If you want a relationship, move forward, extend your hand, and Alhamdulillah, if it works, then good and well. And if it doesn't, then what can you do? You can rectify problems that are going on there and then, but you can't rectify problems from the past. And also another thing that we forget is that, let's say you got 4 or 6 brothers and sisters, you're living in one household. You all have a different experience of that household, even though you got the same parents.
Yeah.
Parents always say they treat all their children the same.
Yeah.
They say this. Now, the children, when you later on in life, you look at things, they say, well, no, actually, well, that's what it was like for you, but for me, it was different. So they've all had a different experience in their childhood.
Yeah.
And now it comes to, well, you've had this different experience. How do you feel, and how do you want to move forward with your siblings?
Yeah, exactly. That's really, really interesting thing you said that, when you have multiple children, like more than 5, 6 children in a home, and everybody is having a different experience, even though parents may say that or may try to give you a similar childhood, they try to give everything similar according to their means to everyone. But maybe if a one child have some special need or care, they're giving more attention to that. Or if they and you see that that child is getting it attention, I'm not, because they think you are healthy, you are mature, you are able to carry yourself on. But that the mature one feel that they never said this to me, they never done this to me, I have to get up and do things for myself. But in the parents perspective, you can do it, you are an able child. And who
Mhm.
is not doing, they are thinking like he's lacking in some ways, we need to provide him. This is not intentionally divide they creating, but you are taking it in as a wound into you. And when you grow up with these wounds, you are thinking, okay, I never get this and I never get that. But do remember that as Sister Shina said earlier, you choose the friends, you contact them, you are be proactive to be with them, to be within that scenario. The siblings are God given gift to you, they are God given friends to you. You need to make an effort here to make friends with them. If you are not putting the effort, if you are not forgiving them, and if you are not forgetting things, you are keeping, like, take your mind as in a hard disk. We all know what is the hard disk. If you are filling in, filling in, filling in, then we have really less space to keep positive things. So forgiveness and forgetfulness is there to empty the space for happy moments.
Mhm.
And reminding yourself these happy memories make you a healthy and happy person. And do remember that, the grudges you are keeping, maybe they are non-existent for the other person.
Yes, definitely.
Maybe they does not pick that things up which you are taking so long and so long you are hurting on your in your mind, in your heart, remembering every time you talk to that person is triggered back to you, and you are linking an irrational thought again and again and again and living a lie because the other person does not know about it. So better if still is in your mind, talk in the therapy or talk to the person directly and ask the clarification. They might tell you they doesn't mean it. They don't want to do it. They don't even remember it, which you are keeping into you.
Mm. That's true. And with siblings, a lot of the time what happens is they do have good feelings for each other. They
Yeah.
do want to remain on good terms, but because of circumstances, perhaps the people that they have chosen in their lives, perhaps the moves they have made, perhaps, the things they have done, it's not been possible. And
Mm.
sometimes even if they make that effort, the people around them,
Mm.
oh, no, 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 don't you remember they did this to us? Don't you remember they did this to us? And they will hold you back. But you've got to remember you're the adult in this. You're the one with this sibling crisis, so to speak. You need to sort that out. Not the people around, not your wife, not your husband, not your children. You and your sibling, you and your brother, you and your sister, whoever it is.
Yeah.
And you can have you can have best friends in your siblings as well. If you treat them like they are to be treated, like we share with our friends, we share certain, we share things with our friends that we probably wouldn't share with anybody else. Same with your siblings. There's things that you would share with your siblings that you wouldn't share with anybody else. So you can keep and you can maintain and you can nurture that relationship if you just give it that chance. And I find a lot of the time people just think, well, there's no point. People change. So this time when you and your siblings are no longer together, you've spent 5 years, 4 years, whatever, doing your own thing. People have changed. They've changed, the siblings that you've left behind, they've changed, you've changed, and now you're all adults. You can, whatever the issues were, you can actually sort them out. And the issues, generally speaking, are, oh, but she did this and she did that to me when I was young, or he did this or he did the other, which are very minor and are usually forgotten about. And only some people nitpick those. And the
Yeah.
second issue is perhaps with the children. Oh, she didn't marry her daughter didn't marry my son, or my son didn't marry her daughter, or we're not going to speak to each other forever.
Yeah.
And the third issue is usually around inheritance. So all these issues, if your child didn't marry each other, don't worry about it. Everyone's child, Allah has already planned who their spouse is going to be. You don't need to worry about it. That sibling's child is still your nephew, is still your niece. Just because they didn't marry your daughter or your son, it doesn't mean that they are no longer related to you or they are not any good. They are still sweet, young, innocent nephews and nieces. Um, with the inheritance, people need to remember that nobody can give you what Allah hasn't given you, and nobody can take from you what Allah has given you. So if this part of inheritance hasn't come to you for some reason, then just remember that Allah will deal with that person, and maybe you weren't meant to have it. Maybe this person was supposed to keep this for whatever reason it is. Allah will deal with them on the day of judgment. But you just want to have a nice, comfortable life for yourself here. You want to have a clean heart. You don't want to bear any grudges. You want to get along with your siblings. And getting along with your siblings is also a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are rewarded for being kind to your relatives. It says that giving charity is just to someone else is just charity, but giving charity to for someone in your kinship, that brings double reward. One is for kindness to that person, and two is for the charity. So one act, but two rewards because they're your siblings. Again, with being friends with them, loaning them money, looking after them, rewarded twice. Whereas if you do with somebody else, the reward is there, but it's not double like you would for your siblings. So keep these things in mind that, yeah, we're not going to agree with everything. We're all adults, we're all individuals, we're all educated, we have a different purpose in life, so we think differently. We're not going to agree on everything,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, still my sibling, and I still wish the best for them, and I still want to have the best relationship with them.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into the last part, like takeaway of today. So from my side, I will say that, whatever the relationship you have as a child with your sibling, now you are adult, you can rebuild it, because take it as you are making a new friend. Talk to them, go to them. If there is some resentment, solve it, and tell them, we are adults. Let's start over. Let's forget and forgive everything from the past. That today is the day one. And then I will say that, if the relationship you is being on the bad side, because maybe you make your children to get married to each other's houses, and that children have conflict, that children have separated or something like that, does not make that the main thing to separate from your own siblings. That's also maybe the children does not want to be with each other, but you are the siblings, have the blood ties. They are cousins. That is different. Don't break your sister or brother relationship because of the children. Let them be individual. Let them decide it. Let them. What I want you to take from the Western world, even they get separated, they still stay cordial. They still stay friends. They still keep meeting, because if a man and woman get separated, they said we are still parents. So similarly, if your children get separated, but you are still siblings, this is not gonna be break the relationship which you already have. So be mindful. If you still need help, take some therapy, empty your in self in inner side, heal your wounds, and start over. What about you, Sister Shinaz? What is your last word?
My last words are, don't waste your life on anger and resentment and grudges. Put all those things behind you, start afresh, have a good relationship with everybody. And like there's a saying in English that every relationship there's going to be some type of suffering. So you have to choose who you're going to suffer for. And so suffering for your brothers and sisters, I mean, not saying that it's a good thing, but if it
But
has
yeah,
to be,
still they
if
they
there has
are
to
still
be,
your
then it has, yeah.
close ties.
Yeah, so if there has
They
to
are
be,
going to
then
give
there
you the
has to be.
kidney if
Yeah,
you
so,
need it.
make the effort, because we do make whoever we have a nice relationship with, it is because we have put in the effort. So why not put in the effort with the people that you are not getting along with? That's my last piece
Exactly.
of advice.
That's lovely. Thank you very much, everyone. Keep
Jazakallah.
watching us. This new series of us is all about the relationship, the individual relationship. And this week we have talked about the siblings. And keep looking. Take care. Bye bye.
Hafiz, bye.